So apparently I lost my last stream. I don't know what happened exactly, but anyways, I'm back at it, and hopefully we are able to send this off to a couple of different people. Let me re-send the live stream. Part of my lack of knowing technology isn't really helping the situation, but we'll get on here and get in here in a second. So let's see here. So anyways, hopefully everybody can eventually find this video. I'm definitely want to see if I can, if I'm able to get comments from people. I'm able to do question and answer while we're on here. So you guys are welcome to ask questions, but I'm going to go ahead and start just talking about, first of all, 15-minute interviews and kind of how it came about. So I'm going to tell you the side of things that I really want to happen, starting with, you know, my biggest goal, I think that I really want to happen is for people to understand that there's another avenue out there for being able to get some kind of support. A lot of times when it comes time to being able to find help or look for help, don't know where to start. And I think when things are difficult, it makes it that much more challenging to seek and find help. So my hope is like putting these things out there that they exist, even if we don't need it at the moment. Like we just know that, hey, I remember seeing something like that, and I can start searching for it, or I can kind of be on the, I guess, be on notice that it exists. So my hope is to keep doing that, is to keep putting more people out there. Recently in our interviews, we interviewed, you know, I think it was a life coach. And so, and with a totally different kind of perspective. And so, since we started, I think we have a doctor, a marriage and family therapist, a LCSW, and all of them within their field are specializing in different areas. And so just being able to help everyone to know that someone's out there for them, I think, you know, is really helpful. So this is really, this is not a fee thing or something that costs money. It's really about seeing what, you know, what's out there, and at no charge being able to look and have and get more information. So that's really what this is about. And so just to kind of catch everybody up, you know, what has happened is I had a 15-minute interview scheduled to come out today, and there was some difficulty with it, and so we decided not to air it today. We'll keep our air for Friday, and I just said, you know what, I'll do a live fill-in for the next 15 minutes, and then kind of go from there. And so that's where we're at right now as far as interviews are going for tonight. So it's supposed to be Katie, but she's going to move to a different day, and we'll get to see her eventually anyways. She actually interviewed me, and so if you guys check on our YouTube channel, there's an interview where she interviewed me that's kind of they flipped the tables on me, or turned the tables on me, which was fun. And this has been a fun project actually to kind of go over. So anyhow, that's 15-minute interviews, and that's a little bit about what's going on. We actually have, I believe it's 6 or 7 in the bank, so we're looking at about another 4 weeks of being able to release videos. And the more that people talk about it and move it around their social media, I think the more effective we'll be at being able to reach people. So sometimes it's not just about ourselves. It's about, how can I help someone else? And honestly, if it just takes a little bit of a share to let people know that this exists, that's not so difficult. I always think about, like, if someone wants help, they may not reach out to their closest people, but if they see something on their closest people's social media, that might be helpful, right? So are we willing to just kind of put ourselves out there? Are we willing just to do one extra step and go ahead and share it? I mean, it's a resource for everybody to be able to have. And so yeah. Okay, so that's 15-minute interviews. I wanted to spend time on talking a little bit about relationships from an interesting perspective that I think might be helpful. So relationships from the perspective of inside out, which is a lot of the concepts that I talk about, in therapy. So I think what happens a lot of times in relationships is we get kind of caught up in making the relationship work without paying attention to who we are or who we're being. And I think whenever we focus on making the relationship work, we start focusing on what the other person is doing, and it turns into a bad situation. So the more inside out we can go with it, and what that means to me is the more that we are able to work on ourselves and better ourselves, we become accepting of wherever that person's at. We start finding ways, the reasons that we're not having peace, the reason that we have boredom, the reason that we're having difficulty getting the behaviors that we want. We're able to find those things the more that we are able to hone in on what's going on with us. If 2 people are doing that in any given relationship, then I think we're going to be in a good spot. So to me, the art of doing, I actually wrote this down, the art of doing relationships is about being the best that you can be to make the relationships, to make contributions in your relationships. So I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, but that can, definitely apply too. But I'm saying even like parenting, the hard part about, and I think what makes, I guess it would be in any relationship, but in parenting, there's no guarantee where our children are at or how far along they are. And developmentally, we don't have as much expectation for them as we would another adult. But it gives us a real opportunity to go inside out and start looking at what it is that we're experiencing as people, like what's going on. So, recently I've been on this kick about how we lead so much, and when I look at my life and what has gone on, we lead so much with the things that we're afraid about, or what we're afraid may or may not happen. And the more that we do that, and we're probably not even on a conscious level, just subconsciously living, the more that we do that, the more that things seem to kind of just pile onto us, and it gets to a point of overwhelm and challenge in our life. So now, just even from this conversation of relationships, I bring in a concept about overwhelm, which is prevalent in a lot of our lives, but we're able to do away with it the more that we stop trying to lead our lives, afraid of not having, afraid of feeling a certain kind of way, afraid of being a failure, right? Like all those fears that can come up, the more that we reduce trying to look at those, or at trying to do things based on the fear, I think the better. So what is the antonym of that? What is the opposite of leading with fear? For me, and I think in parenting and in relationships, it's first, well, it's loving, but loving to me doesn't mean like a soft, be a doormat. So we're not talking about being a victim And that's not what loving means, but it really does mean start by first loving yourself and respecting yourself um, and treating yourself well, right? If you just look at the way that you treat yourself, I think it's a tall tale for probably how other people are treating you in your relationships, right? It's a tall tale for the feelings that you're going to get um, whenever you're interacting with other people, right? So the more you start treating yourself in a way that is demanding of yourself and empowering of yourself, all of a sudden, like the relationships around you have to respond in the same way. So I'm saying all this like it's easy, and what I do know from my own experiences is that it's constant work. It's constant work. I think the things that you surround yourself with, as far as reading and watching, and the things that you're willing to learn, like all those things to me really matter. Who you're going to surround yourself with, and it's not like people set out to be bad or not good for you, but what you'll recognize is that not everybody's ready for that same kind of change, and not everybody's ready to make the same kind of movement that you do, and so it really is about people being in tune with what's going on in their lives, and trying to make those changes for themselves first. Okay, so that first part is just being able to love yourself. Surround yourself with the right things, treat yourself right. A lot stop doing the things that mean you're jeopardizing your body, you're jeopardizing your mental, emotional health. Stop doing those things. But then the second part is using and believing in the idea that love changes other people. All right. The more that you believe in that, which in my recent experiences, I've seen a lot of people that kind of laugh at me when I say that. I don't know if laughing is the word, but the idea that they really doubt it, right? But I'm with that, and I get that, because I think so much of the way that we have interacted to this point, a lot of it's fear based. A lot of how the world works is about creating fear in other people in order to get them to do different things. But if you think about some of the most impactful people and things that have happened in this world, it wasn't somebody who bullied somebody into something else, right? It was people grabbing onto a connection, right? Like, so everybody kind of making sure that we can connect, and then moving in the same direction together, right? So that to me is more about um, the love idea that I would like to see. That doesn't mean lack of discipline. It doesn't mean being able to say that certain things are okay that you're really not okay with, right? It's all about being able to set boundaries. It's all about being able to have your limits. It's all about being able to accept who another person is, looking less at what it is that they're doing, and more about where it is that they're going in life, or how you can join them in their life. Find the areas that you can join them in their life. So it's two things. One is being able to first love yourself, and then in turn be able to love other people, to be able to get them to move. So I think that inside out approach can really be effective. The hardest parts, I think, is buying into one, that it works because it's counter to what we've kind of known, or what we've seen for the most part. And so we kind of adopted fear methods. But then the other part is, we haven't built our life around it. So there's a lot of things that we end up having to lose out on whenever we go that route. Hey, if you have questions, though, you can reach out to me. I'll be here for that. Um, I like the opportunity to be able to just get on and speak to you guys. This is a part of 15-minute interviews. I just wanted to fill in for Katie's interview real quick. But it's been nice to be able to drop some knowledge. And man, we're going to keep going on these interviews as much as possible. Do me a favor and share it. The things that I just talked about, not just because they came from me, but in general, everybody needs to know about that. It's a different direction. It's a new way to move. It's a liberating to move. And the question becomes, and I'll leave you with this, is, am I willing to let go of everything that I know of to have an inner peace that gives me freedom.